Hey guys, thought I need to pop on with another vid here. We got some major activity going on, recorded here on ISWA. Well, hang on, I just pulled these two up as well. These two are synced 100,000 electron volts and the 4 million electron volts. Haven't really looked at them, but you might want to take note of the O shock on the backside, having to try to fight off all this pressure coming from Nemesis. You can see where it's getting broke up here and there, and you can just tell by the signatures back here that that's pretty much where the bow shock is. Whenever it gets squared off back here, that's the false bow shock. The Earth's had to develop in the last several months, maybe a year, close to a year, at least 6 months, to fight off all this backside pressure. But anyway, I saw a solar wind speed of 1701 kilometers per second being recorded by these GOES 13 and 14 satellites in this geosynchronous orbit, 22,236 miles above the Earth. And I think GOES 15 is up there as well. So this is all, these are recording all this data that's being displayed in these computer simulations. Look at that. I've made reference to these little hair-like looking objects that are coming from that big planet I'm theorized. One that passed ACE on October 16th and been headed our way ever since. Was showing like 8-9 hour gaps on ACE for the longest time, at least 6 months. Started out 3-4 hour gaps, then it went to 9 hours. Then on October 16th, it passed ACE. And then the gap started showing up in between Earth and the ACE satellite, which is out at the L1 Lagrange point, 930,000 miles in front of the Earth. That's where the Discover satellite is too. Those are the ones that give you all this solar wind data. And this is the phi angle. Anything above 180 or, well, it was 180. It's supposed to be 360 degrees here from 0 to 360, but they got it bumped up to 40 to 400 now in order to account for all this extra these backside connections indicated by this phi angle. That's what this blue phi angle indicates. You can see the numbers being displayed as I drag this thing along. See, it's been quite unstable, a lot of instability. It's been jumping back and forth from a front side connection with the big planet and Earth and the Sun, and I think Nemesis is even running through the Earth now, the connection, and we're getting connected all the way through from Nemesis to the Earth, through the big planet, and back to the Sun. And so far, mostly the connections have been on the back side. Here's the like I said, the solar ham. This is the L1 Lagrange point. Here's the solar ham space tutorial. Now these are in my under my description box. Here's the phi angle. See, it tells you what it normally should be. 0 degrees, it means it's pointing from the Earth to the Sun. If it's at 180, it's pointing from the Sun to the Earth. Well, it's been over 180 for the longest time. And also we get this 1.5 hour gap here. And I noticed it on ACE the last few days, last several days. And I didn't really make note of it because it wasn't showing up on Discover as well, but now it's showing up on both. It's a data gap. It's a data gap, so there's there it is. See, there's the times there. 12:09, 23:10 UTC to 12:10 0041 UTC. So it's an hour and 31-minute gap. Says some other objects gotten in between the ACE and Discover satellites and the Earth, and it's affecting the data relay. So, I mean, it could be any one of these. This is the latest MLSO run. It gave us a lot of images. Got 115, running about every 4 minutes. Some kind of a time lapse going on here. Pointed out these objects, the concentric circle magnetic signatures. So it could be any one of them that's affecting the data transfer between ACE and Discover and Earth. Well, let's get back to here. So we have the Sirius solar wind event. Let's see, it started back. Okay, this is when it first started. I looked at it earlier, and I figured I'd wait to make a vid. But it began at 12:09. Yes, last night at 22:08 UTC. Started out 14:10. Then it went to 10:50, 10:27, 9:27. You might want to click full screen down here so you can see all these numbers. So then it stopped for a while. So that was at 22:08 UTC. And then here we go again. So that at 12:10, December 10th, at 0100 UTC, went up to 903 kilometers per second. This is all in here. And roughly 400 kilometers per second is about 1,000,000 miles per hour. A little bit less. 12:46, you can see the plasma being ejected. There's the arrows. So remember, this is all being recorded around the Earth, somewhere within this, somewhere being recorded by these geosynchronous satellites 22,236 miles above the Earth. 12:20, 11:54. These are 4-minute increments. There's no missing time. 9:30. There's 17:01. That's the highest I've ever seen so far. I think 1698 was the previous high. There's 12:10, 11:95, 13:85, 12:29, 15:02, 15:85, 9:44, 900, 9:35. Then it looks like it went back down. So it started at 9:22 at 14:10. We had a little break in the action, like 12 minutes there with over 1,000 solar wind speed. Then it started back up again about 3 hours later at 0100, went 903, and there's 17:01. So the last 900 was 9:35. So that was less than an hour, 52 minutes. Here's what it looked like on here. 9:22:08. Okay, there it is. This first, when it first started to go, 14:10. That was the first round. Then we got 9:23, 9:20, 12:10 rather. 0100. There's the next round. I mean, just look at that. It's crazy stuff going on there. And you can see magnetic field lines stacking up in front from that big planet. And there's all the interplanetary magnetic field lines I've suggested from that big planet, and they're stretching out further now, closer to the Earth. Used to be they would just start to show themselves in here, but now they're coming out pretty far, at least 5 Earth radii. These are increments of 5 Earth radii here, so it's about 20,000 miles extended. Past this point, this 25 Earth radii point, it's getting down to 20. Let's see, we were tracking and look at this. Our magnetopause got seriously bumped around there for a minute. And you see what I'm talking about with all this pressure coming in from the back and how it's making this bow shock square up here. Let me see. Okay, the solar wind speed has been up recently, up above 600 for at least since 1200 yesterday. But and then on the Enlil, they did not predict this to be above 550 really. Solar wind speed. Here's the 12.9, 12.10. So I don't know. I think the connection between Nemesis, Earth, the big planet, and the Sun, I think it's helping to maybe pull this solar wind speed along. And look how much it fluctuates. Sort of corresponds to all these interplanetary magnetic field fluctuations as represented by the phi angle. Same with the temperature. The density pretty much remained the same. Let's see what else. Okay, here's the SWS numbers represented in the geospace simulation, Michigan geospace model for the last 3 or 4 hours. See, we're getting more of a tilt now on the magnetopause. Used to be somewhat of a tilt. It looks like it's been a little bit more exaggerated. But then when you got the solar wind coming in from the elevated solar wind coming in from the sun, it's about 650 kilometers per second. You can see the squared off thing I'm talking about with the bow shock. That's our false bow shock back there. See how squared off it's getting? We're getting so much pressure from the backside. Essentially, we get 2 bow shocks here. One on the inside, and there's the one on the outside for the big planet. We're definitely in the middle of a squeeze play, no doubt. Here's the density. I don't see too much on there, and I'm running out of time, so this has been lighting up, getting quite dark red pretty much for the day yesterday, and it's even darker today, so that's indicating some serious solar wind velocity coming at the planet and all around the planet. It's definitely ramped up big time. Seeing some waves come through periodically still too. Not as much though. I saw more earlier today. I'm not seeing any right now, matter of fact. Which would indicate stuff being slung at us from that big planet out front. So it's heating up, guys. There's no doubt about it. And I've never seen it this angry red all around the planet before. So let's pull this back up. So let's run back through this 922. We'll do the whole run so you can watch it. Let's see how close. I mean, it's pretty looking unsettled there. There's a big discharge. Okay, well, these blue ones, they're the ones that you gotta watch, because getting down around 20 Earth radii away from the back side. And that's Nemesis, interplanetary magnetic field lines trying to reach out and touch us from the back side. And then you got the big planets, interplanetary magnetic field lines trying to reach out and touch us from the front side. So we're definitely in the middle of a big squeeze play. No telling how this is going to turn out. Running out of time. God bless. Peace. And I'm out.